Hi, and welcome to North Stream Studios. Tonight I'm going to read you 5 short bedtime stories to help you fall asleep. These stories are not written by me, they're little tales I've gathered from around the internet, and I'm just the narrator. So put your phone down, get comfortable, close your eyes, and just listen. Let's begin with our first story, about a curious girl named Lily and a magical forest. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills and a serene river, there lived a curious little girl named Lily. Lily was known for her insatiable thirst for knowledge and her adventurous spirit. One clear, starry night, as the village slept peacefully, Lily's curiosity led her to the edge of the forest that bordered their home. As she ventured deeper into the woods, guided only by the gentle glow of the moonlight filtering through the thick canopy, she discovered a hidden path she had never seen before. Intrigued, she followed it, her heart beating with excitement. Along the way, she encountered a wise old owl perched on a branch. "Hello, young one," hooted the owl, his eyes twinkling with ancient wisdom. "You seem curious. Would you like to embark on a magical journey tonight?" Eagerly, Lily nodded, and the owl continued his tale. He spoke of a forgotten kingdom deep within the heart of the forest, a place where mythical creatures roamed freely and dreams took flight. Lily's eyes widened with wonder as the owl described enchanted castles, friendly dragons, and talking trees. With the owl as her guide, Lily embarked on an unforgettable adventure, meeting creatures she had only read about in storybooks. Together they helped a kind-hearted unicorn find its lost horn, outsmarted mischievous forest imps, and danced under the shimmering light of fireflies. As dawn approached, the owl led Lily back to the edge of the village. With a grateful heart, she bid farewell to her newfound friend, promising to return to the magical kingdom one day. As she stepped back into her room, the first rays of the sun painted the sky with hues of pink and gold, and Lily snuggled into her bed with a smile on her face, knowing that magic truly existed in the world. And so, in the quiet moments of the night, the tale of Lily and the magical forest became a cherished bedtime story for generations, filling the dreams of children with the wonders of imagination and the endless possibilities of the world around them. If you're still awake, our next story is about a little eel under the sea, learning what really makes him happy. Once upon a time, there was a young eel, deep in the coral reef. He lived a happy life and never thought of anything but feasting on the tasty fish and shrimp that lived in the bottom of the ocean with him, swimming and feeling the push of the tide as it drew him in and out, and sleeping in his comfortable hidey hole. It was a comfortable life, and he was content. Until one day, as he was swimming about, a wise old shark swam by. "Little eel," said the shark, "are you not lonely? Do you not often wish for companionship?" The little eel thought about it. "No, sir," he said, "I am quite content swimming around and eating delicious shrimp and living in my hidey hole." "Suit yourself," said the old shark. But as he swam away, he added, "Might as well forget I asked." Now, if that shark had said something like, "Mark my words," or if the shark had emphasized the importance of it, then the young eel would have done just that. But since the shark had made nothing of it, and, in fact, had told the eel to forget it, quite naturally the eel could think of nothing else for days. And because he could think of nothing else, he became very unhappy with his life indeed. He became bitter about his shrimp and fish dinners and uncomfortable with his hidey hole. And when he went out to swim with the tide, surrounded by the population of the reef, it only made him feel lonelier. "Oh, stuff all these things," he said. "I was never unhappy about it, but now I am unhappy without a companion." I must find one." And so the young eel swam off in search of a companion. Within minutes, he found another eel. "Hello, Miss Eel," he said to her. "Would you like to be my companion?" "Oh no," she said. "I have a companion already, and all these little fry to take care of. But thank you for the offer." And he swam away, disappointed, but he did not expect to be so lucky on the first try. He came up to another eel a couple of hours later. "Hello, Miss Eel," he said to her. "I would like a companion." "You would you?" said she. "Well, good luck with your search." "Would you like to be my companion?" he asked. "I am not interested in a companion at this time." And he swam away, quite perturbed. A couple of days later, he came upon another eel. "My dearest Miss Eel," he said to her, "isn't it a lovely day for companionship? Would you like to join me?" "No," she said. "Why not?" asked he. "Because," she said, "in all honesty, you seem a bit too eager for companionship to me, and I wonder, what is it you are looking for that you haven't found?" "I am looking for a companion," he said. "I was happy in my hole, eating shrimp and fish and swimming with the tide. But then I realized that I did not have a companion, and that I must have a companion to be happy." "But my dear Mr. Eel," she replied, "if you are not satisfied without a companion, what makes you think you will find something with one? Companionship is as much about giving as it is about taking. Are you ready to give? I can tell you are not. You are thinking only of what you want. Now do go. I have had a busy day of swimming and need my rest." And the young eel was more frustrated than ever and darted back to his hidey hole, bitter and upset. He had been there a week, pouting and grouchy, before the shark swam by again. "What's this?" he asked the little eel. "What happened to my happy young eel? I think I have not seen an eel so miserable as this in all my years. Do you no longer enjoy your shrimp and fish, and your swimming with the tide, and your co's hidey hole?" "No," the young eel nearly shouted. "I do not have a companion to share this with me, and I must have one to be happy," he said. "Oh dear," said the shark. "You do now? You didn't before." "Well, yes," said the eel. "I was quite content before, but then the idea of having a companion, well, it seemed so nice. Someone I can snuggle with in my cozy hidey hole. I can catch a big fish or shrimp and split it with her. We can swim in the ocean together. Those sound quite nice, but they seem quite nice even without a companion, no? Well, yes, but now that I think of how it might feel to do them with someone, perhaps that is the case. Perhaps there is no more enjoyment to be had in these things," said the shark, and he swam away. Now, if that shark had pointed out to the eel that the things he had enjoyed were still just as fun as they had been before, the eel never would have thought another thing of it. But because the shark said there was no more enjoyment to be had, the young eel began to think, "You know, I do still like my hidey hole. It is a very nice hidey hole by itself, and I enjoy swimming in the water just as much as I always did. And the little fish I ate yesterday was particularly good. I would enjoy them just as much as I did before if I don't have a companion. Why would I miss the joy without them?" And so the little eel stopped worrying about having a companion and began to enjoy his life once again. He still had that longing in his heart, but he was no longer a miserable young eel. He was happy again. 1 month later, the water was warming up as spring began to arrive, and he was just the happiest little eel swimming about when someone came up to him. "Pardon me," she said. "I couldn't help but notice how much you were enjoying the water here." "Dance with me," said the little eel. "It's fun, but it's even more fun if we do it together." And she did. And the two eels spun and coiled and danced, and all the fish and life around the reef were amazed at the beauty of their dance. Just then, the eel spotted a large tiger shrimp. "Over there," he said to the other eel. "Those taste wonderful, but they are too large for one little eel to eat. Would you like to split one with me?" "Oh, I don't know," she replied. "You don't have to if you don't want to. Here, I'll catch some for myself, and you may try it if you like." And he shot forward and snapped and bit the tiger shrimp clean in two. He nudged the tastiest part, the head, to the female eel, and she ate it. Together they ate the delicious shrimp. "You know," she said, "I've had them before, but for some reason, like this, it tastes better." "Yes," the little eel yawned. I think you're right." And the little eel was very tired. "I must retire to my cozy hidey hole. It is truly a nice hidey hole. Great for sleep. I'm tired." "Oh, I do love a good hidey hole," she said. Would you like to share mine with me?" "I do believe I would." And so the young eel snuggled up in his hidey hole with his new companion, and they went to sleep. Now, the third story follows an old adventurer who has traveled the world trying to fill an empty space in his heart. A man, an adventurer, explored deep into the unknown, past vast deserts, countless oceans, and deep jungles. He fought off tigers and lions, swam with dolphins, and rode on camels. But he always felt something was missing. Something was wrong with his life. But no matter how far he went, no matter what he did, that hole was always there. So the adventurer went on wilder and wilder missions, looking for something to fill that void. He flew the world's first plane, right across the Pacific Ocean. He tried gin joints and whiskey parlors. But still that hole persisted. He turned to crime. He sailed the 7 seas as a pirate, even had a parrot, smuggled opium across borders, and fought gentlemen with blade and pistol. Still this hole persisted. His life wasn't complete. He was an old man now. He had been adventuring his entire life, saving artifacts from temples and rescuing a damsel or two whilst he was at it. But he never stuck around. He continued to search for that bit of meaning to his life. He went north to see the northern lights. He went south to see penguins, to the Wild West to hunt bounties. But he went east last. When he went east, he found new foods and spices. Whilst tasty still didn't patch that hole in his life, he smuggled opium across the border, but the thrill and highs soon ran out. He meditated with the Dalai Lama, but none of it worked. Not until he met Sun. He had met beautiful women before, even rescued a few of them. He'd known love, known heartache, but when he met Sun, all of that fell away when she gave him a happy ending. The fourth story is a quieter one, about a hitman, a single decision, and the moment he chooses a different path. Once upon a time, there was a successful hitman named Wakim Ale. Mr. Ale got involved in the business of termination at a young age. He used a garrote on his first target at 22. Since then, he'd traveled all over the world: Rome, Istanbul, Tehran, Hong Kong, building his reputation as a silent killer, a shadow in the corner, a virtual boogeyman for those important enough to warrant a bounty. He was hired by CEOs and heads of state and agencies too secretive for him to know their name. Sometimes the missions required him to dress up as a hotel staff. Sometimes they required him to be a sophisticated socialite. Sometimes he had to dress in filth and wait in a back alley. And others he had to lay on a gravel roof for hours, while the sun beat his brow. Sometimes he used a gun, sometimes a knife. Sometimes he had to strangle them with his bare hands. Whatever the job required, he delivered. He left no unhappy clients. He never left unpaid. And it was another such night that he lay on a rooftop, staring through the scope of a sniper rifle across at a neighboring skyscraper. Mr. Allay's static attention sharpened as one of the skyline's apartments lit up. The scope's magnification allowed Mr. Allay to see his target's profile clearly. His target crossed the living area wearily and flicked on the lights in his bedroom. Wearily, he sighed and began to set his briefcase, keys, and wallet in their proper space. Mr. Allay flicked the safety off. His finger crept closer to the trigger. Then suddenly, another figure ran in. A small figure. The target's daughter wasn't supposed to be here, wasn't expected. The girl jumped into his arms and hugged him tight. Mr. Allay could see, even from here, the smile that came to the tired man's face. The little girl showed him a piece of paper, a drawing. It made him laugh, and he hugged her again. Mr. Allay watched all this impassively. Then, his fingers slowly withdrew from the trigger. He lay there a few moments longer, watching his target and the daughter move out of sight. Then he stood, packed up the rifle, and slowly he walked away. It didn't matter who wanted him dead or what he'd done to deserve the bounty. It had stopped mattering to Wakim Allay a long time ago. And finally, our last story for tonight is about a prince, his best friend, and what it really means to be a good king. Once upon a time, there was a prince named Lance. He became friends with a peasant kid named Samus. They grew up together. Even when they became teenagers, they both were the best of friends. One day, Lance was called upon by the king, who wanted him to fetch something upon the highest mountain. Lance wanted Samus to come, but the king demanded he had to go alone and leave Samus behind. "It's for the best of the kingdom," his father said. "It's time you learn how to be king yourself." So Lance did what he was told. He wanted to please his father. He began ascending the mountain, fighting the cold winds, harsh landscapes, and grueling exertion. However, Lance found himself alone, scared and unhappy. Upon further thinking, he descended back down and called Samus to join him on his journey. Together they climbed the mountain and found the sword the king had requested. When the Wami returned to the kingdom, the king was most unhappy. "Why did you bring Samus with you? This is against my wishes." Lance started to become scared, but stood up to his father and told him, "I wanted my friend by my side." The king smiled. "And now you know how to be king. I am proud of you, Lance." Lance and Samus remained friends ever since, and still are great friends. That was all 5 bedtime stories for tonight. I hope you feel a little calmer, a little sleepier, and a little less alone. If you're still awake, close your eyes, breathe slowly, and let the rest of your thoughts fade away. Thank you for listening. Sleep well, and good night.